What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video, and it's that time of the week again where we do a financial audit and we open up the books and we take a look at DSP Gaming and how the business is faring, and we also ensure that we hold Goutman accountable and make sure he's not lying about his tips or super chats. And you guys know what I typically do is I look at the work week, air quotes work week, of Phil, and then I take a look at his tips, super chats, total, kind of compared to what he did on the previous week. And then of course I do a year over year where I compare where he currently is in 2023 compared to 2022. And folks, spoiler, it's not good. Our boy Phil is still struggling and he hasn't been able to catch up. And this looks to be a down week, a down year for the business. And as you guys know, Phil considers his streams, his content to be a business, and if you're a business, the one thing you need to do is you need to continuously see growth. If you don't see growth quarter over quarter, month over month, or year over year, you have a problem with the business. And that's what we're seeing here, folks. So let's definitely get into it. And by the way, don't forget, again, we're just looking at tips, super chats. That's it. Not memberships, not ad revenue, none of that. We're essentially looking at the main sources of income for Phil. And this does include the money that he received from DSPReacts, his sister channel. So it includes both. Okay, and then don't forget, last week he did not stream on the 3rd, so that could account for the difference in income from one week to another. So this week, his work week started on the 4th. It technically started on the 3rd, but he took off that day. And he streamed from May 4th all the way through the 9th. And for total tips, he received $835. And then for super chats, he received $452 for a grand total of $1,287. I mean, it's okay for, I guess it's okay. You know, he typically averages at least $1,000 per week for tips, but I guess that's been drying up, just like it's been for the whole year. Essentially, that's what Phil's been seeing the whole year, for, you know, his streams. So that averages out to about $139 and some change for tips, an average per day. So he's doing a tier 2 and a little bit under a tier 1. So typically that's not good for Phil. You know, Phil always wants at least a tier 2 tip goal average and a tier 1 tip goal average for at least 150 or more a stream. So he's lacking that in tips. Now for super chats, he's averaging about $75 per day, which is slightly higher than normal. It's slightly higher than what he normally gets. Now if we compare that to last week he made $794 in tips, $278 in super chats, for a grand total of $1,072. Now again, he didn't stream on the 2nd because that was his day off, and then the 3rd, no, excuse me, the 2nd he didn't stream because the health divorce arc issue, and then on the 3rd it was his official day off, so that kind of accounts for the dip. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of averaging, he's averaging about that recently for the last couple months, and it's not good. It's not good for Phil. It definitely isn't. It's hurting the business and the liquidity. So now let's take a look at how he's doing for the year. So far he streamed from 1/1/2023 all the way up to May 9th, right? And if we go down here, we can see that he's pulled in a total of $18,754 in tips for the 4-month period, I guess. Let me see, January, February, March, April, May. Actually, yeah, 4 months. 4 months and a couple days. He's pulled in $18,754. And in super chats, he pulled in $7,907 for a grand total of $26,661 in that time period. Now, if you look at what he pulled in for that same period for 2022, it's a lot less. So as you can see here, in tips for 2022 for that time period, he pulled in $25,001. And then for super chats, he pulled in $10,728 for a grand total of $35,729. So as you can see, just alone in tips, our boy Phil is lagging from last year. He is down 25%. So he's made 25% less in tips in 2023 than he has in 2022. And that's been steady all year. I've been tracking this all year, and he's been between like 23 and 27%. So he needs to start getting some wins and some legendary streams for him to kind of close that gap. And he only has about 6.5 months to go. And I don't envision any major games coming out this year. Maybe Starfield, that can help him actually grow his channel. And then for super chats, as you can see, he is negative 26.3%. So he has made 26.3% less than he did in 2022 for a grand total, folks, of negative 25.4%. So he's literally down a quarter of what he made in 2022. Again, this is just tips, super chats, and that's it. I'm not looking at memberships nor ad revenue. I'm not sure if that pulls him up a little bit, but again, we're just looking at these two metrics, which we have the information for. I mean, Piece of Peace tracks it. Game Face Gamer on Twitter, who's been kind of my go-to now because he posts every day. He posts the early streams and the night streams. He gives you the super chats and the tips. So I've been using him heavily. And then the archive data we have from Piece of Peace's tip tracker for 2022. So yeah, I mean, it's concrete numbers. It's there. I mean, it's stuff that we can account for. The other stuff like ad revenue, we would be kind of speculating. I mean, I could, because I know what I get in ad revenue. And I can kind of look at Phil's views per month and kind of determine what he's getting, and it isn't much. But then he does have memberships. I mean, some months he pops up to about 600 or 700, and then of course it drops down to about 500, 400, and so on. So I mean, that may help with his channel, like compared to last year. But again, that would just take way too long. This video would be like 30 minutes, and I don't feel like doing all that. I am just looking at the two big money sources that Phil receives, again, which are tips and super chats. So yeah, so there you have it. Phil is still trending down. He's still about a quarter, about 25% off his 2022 totals, and the year is running out, folks. We have what, 6-7 months left, and that's going to be really hard for him to make up, and I'm not sure if he is. He may get lucky in the Christmas time, where, you know, there'll be some more people generous, and he'll pop up in tips. But again, Phil relies on AAA games to get him through these, you know, these dry times, and there is nothing coming out. I mean, the only thing coming out is what? Starfield, like I said. That's a big AAA game coming out. There might be a couple games here and there, but again, Phil doesn't like to pay for games. So, you know, he may decide not to play them just because he doesn't feel like forking out $70. He'd rather play something on Game Pass, you know, but who knows? Anyway, sorry for yawning. Oh my lord. Those are the numbers. Yep, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I'll be doing this every week, and then at the end of the month I'll do a monthly review to see where he's at and do that comparison. But yeah, Phil is definitely struggling with his tips and super chats this year, and I for one enjoy it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.